now recording.
Great! Hurrah! Right, we had a small technical discussion after everybody left last session. So, Bracy, you get one sentence to shout out to everybody before we move on to the next round of initiative.
Right.
Oh, God, I'd forgotten.
I shout out for Sengo and Davy to disengage and retreat as far back as they can.
Right, that's what he shouts. We're going to initiative.
Tracker.
Oh, we're not going off the initiative off the combat tracker last turn.
Yeah, it's a new round. We'd finished the round last turn.
Okay.
The commoner goes first, who's busy running about. That's our little gnome lady running about trying to... I do like the way you didn't actually inform them what you're going to do, but that's all you said, Bracy. I did see it.
Yeah.
You had one sentence. Okay, Sengo, it is your turn. You hear this shout from the gnome fella.
I move back.
Right, so you're using disengage as an action.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They go for a hit, don't they?
No, if you use disengage, that means you don't attack, but you can move away without being hit.
Why I said.
And you want to move past me.
Well,
2 squares past me, at
I
least.
can't even see where you are. I've just moved back to Rab.
Okay.
You disappeared.
That's 55 feet, but I'll move you.
I can move you.
Oh, are you dashing as well? All right, okay, you move back to Rab. No problem. Is that the end of your turn?
Right, I turn around to Rab and go, what?
Right, Rab, you're next.
Right. I hold my action, and I'm going to hold it, cast with a wall of fire after Davy's turn, centered on the position where Sengo was at the start of his.
Okay, so Rab holds his turn. Right, Shashelian, it's your turn. What would you like to do?
Disengage.
Right, with a scream and a dodge, parry, duck, dodge, dip, and dive. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge an ogre. You run back. You run back as far as you can. Right, Rabbit, it's now your turn. You
wall
cast
of fire.
A wall of fire where the circle is drawn upon the ogres. If you please let it target them all and roll your cast.
Hang on. Is it control or shift?
It's control to click on them all.
It's only showing 5.
You should get the prawn one as well.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know if it's just because it's only got the space 5 or what.
It's probably just because it has the space for 5.
Right,
okay, hit the cast button. Right, Rab raises his staff and shouts "Fuego!" and a wall of fire in a ring bursts into existence around the ogres. They mostly fail. Roll your damage.
Ooh, some nice damages.
Oh, nice. Right, there's a great scream goes up as this wall of fire bursts into existence. I assume you're pointing the hot side inwards.
Oh, yes.
I will point out that it looks like this is damaged Rab as well.
It does look like that, doesn't it? You targeted yourself.
I bet he's targeted
You might have targeted yourself.
Yes,
Rab has targeted Rab.
Okay, right. So there's a screaming and a shoving as this wall of fire bursts and horribly burns a whole bunch of ogres. Do you do anything for your bonus action? I think you're pretty.
I think I've got to concentrate to keep it up.
Yeah.
Right. Yell something appropriate like "burn, bitches."
Excellent. Etigal, you see this great burst of flame from the other side of the goat herd. The goats obviously start to panic and run away as there's just a 20-foot high wall of flame engulfing a whole bunch of ogres.
Right, I'm going to move over towards the rest of the party.
Right, you get 40 feet of movement.
Is each square 5 again?
It is,
that
yes.
puts me there. And I'm just going to keep an eye on things.
So you start moving up to support the rest of the party. Right, the ogres. Okay. Right, there's one tiny spot in the centre that isn't burning or that can try and push through the wall of fire. So what I'm going to do is I am going to roll a constitution roll to see if they are brave enough to push through the wall of fire.
This one's prone.
Yeah. Right, Ogre 1 tries to push into the middle, and Ogre 3 succeeds. He pushes his way out of the wall. However, he takes damage again, Bracy, so if you would care to... Oh, sorry, no, Ogre 3 is not in the wall. He will. He staggers back, unsure as to what's happening as this great wall of fire has come past him. Ogre 4 raises his arms and he comes out of the fire, but he was only halfway in, so he doesn't take the extra damage. That uses half of his movement because he's prone. He was prone, if you remember, because Sengo had cast fairy fire on him and he was rolling around on the floor thinking he was on fire. So he just goes, "Oh, it's not burning," and then woof, this wall of fire goes off. He screams and rolls out of the way. Ogre 5. Fails and tries to push it in the middle. So one of them can stand in the safe spot. We have to see who gets the biggest. And 6 and 7 push their way through the fire, Bracy. So if you could untarget everything and roll the damage again for 6 and 7 as they force their way through the white hot flames.
Yeah.
So we need 1, 5, and 8.
And don't forget to untarget yourself, Brace.
Yeah, I've cleared all the target.
So many rolls. Right, so Ogre 1 shoves all of the rest of them and stands in the centre away from being burnt. However, shoves the other 2 ogres back into the flames again. So if you do damage to 5 and 8 again, please. So if you click on them, Bracy, and then
5, and 8. Yep.
hit save to see if they save again, and then it'll roll them.
Save or cast it on us.
Save, because you've already success, and then roll your damage. Right, Ogre 8 bursts into flames, screams as you save. That was the one with Hunter's Mark. So unfortunately, the Hunter's Mark disappears.
I'm moving on to something else.
I think that's a bonus action on your turn, I believe. Right, so number 8 rolls out from the flames, but is burnt horribly. All of his hair's burnt off, and he collapses dead on the floor. Poor Ogre 8. 11 to Ogre 5, who's looking badly damaged, and he's trying desperately to shove the other ogre out of the way. Right, so that resolves all of the damage to the ogres, who are panicking and screaming and generally taking damage in all directions. If you can just check up on your Hunter's Mark spell, Dave, I believe it's a bonus action on your turn to move it.
Right.
Rick, you see this wall of fire, you see thrashing, screaming ogres fleeing in all directions in a panic.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 5. I was waiting to see what went on with that. Each creature within 10 feet, so it's probably not going to damage that many. So you see, I will just do this and blast some ogres. We've targeted ogre 5 and apparently ogre 1, which I can't do. Just ogre 5. Right, some Eldritch Blasting, or should I do a Magic Missile? No, I'll just do Eldritch Blast. Right, you.
Right, you raise your hands Iron Man style. Oh,
Nat
wow.
20.
A crit. This is going to hurt.
Will it do the crit automatically for me?
It should do, yes.
Yeah, it did.
Right,
Well,
force damage. The ogre's struck from behind as he's busily wrestling with his companion to try and get away from the heat and the flames. You have
And then,
another shot, don't you?
yeah, I do get it again. Wow, you can
I
only
do
ever
this.
have one good one.
That is very true. Okay. End of turn. Commoner Sengo, it's back to you. You've witnessed this fiery carnage. Go ahead. And they seem to be panicking and trying to get away from it. Can you move it as in the ring form or not?
Don't think you can.
No.
It doesn't say anything about movement, but I'm wondering if I can flip it from inside to outside.
I would allow that.
What?
Right, when a wall of fire is cast, you decide which side of the wall is hot. Obviously, Bracy said the inside of the wall was hot, the outside's perfectly cool.
So I can't pass through it.
You can, but you'll take the damage.
Right, I'm just going. Is it dash me move?
No, a normal move is 40 feet. If you dash, you can move 80 feet, but that takes your action.
Well, I'm just going to move there.
You want to move further out?
Why? Yeah, the wall of fire, if Bracy flips it, will cause a damage again in a 2 square range. So if you're in 2 squares of that wall of fire...
I'm just going to... Well, hang on.
If you go to the left-hand side of the ogre, you'll be okay.
Well, I'm just going to... 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go there.
Okay, so you run forward. The ogres are patting themselves and screaming. They're running around in panic, obviously. Okay, we rab.
I flip the wall.
Right, you flip the wall. If you could target those 3 on the outside... I don't know whether you can, but it's funny, so I'm going to let you. And hit cast again. They just get out. They look somewhat relieved that it's much cooler here, and just as that happens, the Inferno... 2 failures in excess. The Inferno bursts on the outside with a woomph of displaced air. Roll your damage. Right, all 3 of them look extremely badly hurt and extremely badly burned. And unfortunately, you don't manage to kill them, sadly.
It's a shame.
It is a shame. Is there anything else you want to do?
Hold concentration.
Okay. Yeah, Sengo, you now feel an intense torrent of heat pouring from that circle. Shashelian.
When do I take my bonus action? Can I take it first or what?
Yes, but the hunter's mark dispersed when you don't have a target?
I don't know. I think you can got to turn to move it or something like that. Or I suppose you can still mark a corpse.
Well, I'll allow it this time, and then we'll check up after the game. So, where do you want to move? You can take your actions in any order, bonus or normal, or
I'll move my hunter's mark first.
okay. To which one?
That one.
Yeah. And then you fire. Is this correct?
Yes.
Right, go for it.
An aimed one first.
That wasn't targeted, but you can drop it on them. Right, it hits. Right, roll your damage, David. Hits.
Right.
Go on, shoot it. Right, you
Blow it up.
fairly put it down. How do you kill this ogre then? It's screaming and wailing and trying to put itself out.
Just in the back of the head.
Subtle. So as it's thrashing about, the arrow sinks into its thick skull and it falls over dead. And your second shot?
I suppose I can't move the hunter's mark again.
No,
then.
you've already used your bonus action. So what are you doing with your second shot?
I'll do a normal shot because you've got a better chance of hitting.
Okay, Ogre 5. She is this. What?
Let's
Right.
see.
It hits. Hunter's mark was there. Okay, roll your damage. Nice. That one's almost dead as the arrow sinks deep in it. Is that your turn, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah. Etigal. You
Right.
should be able to finally move free. Actually, you've moved free of the goats because they're starting to run away from the wall of fire. So you can see all of this chaos now as the goats stream past you to the southwest.
Right, that should be close enough. Right, let's have a look, say. I'm probably now going to waste a spell. Wait a minute. Right, I'll target that one. I've no clue which one it is, but never mind.
So there you go. We've removed said goats.
Right, and I am going to waste a spell.
It hits. It's chromatic
don't-
orb. Hits.
I don't believe it. Right. well,
8 whole levels for it to hit. Right. And how do you destroy this ogre with your chromatic orb?
The chromatic orb lands on it, and the last thing all the other ogres say is the fire burning out through its eyeballs as it slowly falls over forwards.
Nice. And that is number 6. It's dead in the most awful manner. Okay. The ogres are patting themselves and banging, and
Patting themselves and banging.
Yeah, shout, flee, run away. Unfortunately, Ogre 1 is in the middle of this. He stops feeling the heat, so he makes a run for it, basically. So if you could target him and do another cast on him, as he runs out and goes, "Oh, the hot's gone," and then runs through the fire and starts screaming as he, "Oh dear, poor Ogre." Yeah, so what happens to him as he runs through the wall of fire?
He goes up like a torch and runs off screaming and keels over.
Yeah, so he bursts completely in fire, so he's engulfed like in a action movie. He runs forward, then stops, like staggers forward 3 steps, falls to one knee, and then slowly crashes to the ground. Okay.
Dark meat or white, gentlemen?
Ogre 3 turns and tries to run.
I like it a bit red.
Right, Ogre 3 turns tail. Oh, so apparently I can no longer rotate the direction. Oh, I've got to hold shift down now to rotate the direction because they've changed the movement. We'll figure that out later. Right, so he runs off that way.
Fucking cover some.
He goes what? He runs off that way, and 4 is not dead yet. Runs off that way as they flee in panic, running in all directions. And that is the ogre's turn. Rick.
Right. Ooh. Sorry, my screen has gone weird. Let's see if I can target an ogre from where I am. There we are. I nearly had what I wanted. 105 feet. I'm pretty sure Eldritch Blast is 150, so it should be fine. And dandy with that. 120. So yeah, I'm just in range. So I'm going to Eldritch Blast it again. Right, so nat 1. Well done.
Well done, Rick. Well done.
Nat 20, nat 1. Excellent. Right, let's see if I can cast it again and actually do anything. That's bad.
Yes, it hits. A blast of force strikes it
Piss all
for a very small amount of damage.
It's like he's just been slightly slapped.
Doesn't your Eldritch Blast do 2d10 or something now, though, because of your level?
No.
Ah, okay. Right. All you should do is succeed in pushing it on. Okay, that is the end of the round. And first up, we have Senghor.
We're not going to chase them, our lads.
No, but I wouldn't mind seeing them die.
I'm going to chuck a chat. I'm not raging anymore, am I?
No, you are unraged.
Right. So because I'm unraged, I'm just like, and I'm gonna hire a javelin at it. Hope for the best.
Right, hold on a sec
In
then.
fact, no, not a javelin, a crossbow, and it's within range.
That's fine, I'm just taking your rage off. There you go. Okay, so you pull your crossbow out over your shoulder and let fly. You shoot it in the back. Nice, doing 9 damage. The ogre is heavily injured and limps heavily on one foot.
So I like turn around Andy to Davey, and I'm like, "Say that, lad." Fucking shot.
In one. Right, we Rab. If you'd used javelins, you could have threw 2 javelins.
I will move around a bit, but I will keep the fire up, keep the light. So,
Right, and then is that your turn then?
yes, for now.
Okay, Shashalian. There's a big firewall in between you and most of the ogres, blinding you.
We've got a line of sight on this ogre that I've just targeted.
He can move as well. He can move his 30 feet or 35 feet, wherever it is.
Like, you can aim any of them. You've got like 300 feet, haven't you?
Yeah, but Bruce is keeping the wall of fire up. There's a dirty great wall of fire that was in the way, 20 feet high.
It's great. It's great. Wall of fire.
What is your plan then, Shash? Yeah, if we can't hear you.
Is fairy fire still on him?
That's a good question.
It will be on if it's still on
It
him.
only lasts a minute.
No, the one with fairy fire on him's dead because the effect was on the
Yeah, it
mob,
was the one that was lying prone.
Yeah, because he was trying to put himself out.
Right, I'll bonus action move my hunter's mark onto him, and I shall do 1 aimed and 1 normal shot on him.
Right, okay then. Thwip. You hit for silly damage.
He did.
Right, 2 hits. Right, and you take the next ogre down.
Yeah, just in the back of the head.
Right, so there's a common theme here. He just machine guns ogres down in the back of the head repeatedly. Nice. Okay. Ethical, you go last before the ogres. They are trying to flee. Obviously, there are 2 left.
Right, I am going to loose a firebolt at that one that I've got targeted.
You hit. You blast him. There's lots of fire going on tonight. You blast him in the back. He howls in pain. He's now burnt over almost all of his body, and he's just about standing.
Jolly good. That's
Just
what I like to say.
Just standing. You can see now all of his hair's burnt off, and he's black. He's covered in black ash all over his body. Right. The ogres are going to attempt to run and disengage. Are you going to allow them to do that, or are you going to chase them down?
I think, if possible, we should chase them down because they're only going to crop up later in the scenario, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right, well, they're both heavily injured. Well, one of them's heavily injured and one isn't. However, you're all in excellent health. So, you chase them down, and how do you finish them off? We don't need to run through blow by blow.
Back of the head.
Run them down. Dave just keeps repeatedly shooting at the back of the head. What about the rest of you? What he is doing?
Yeah, we just sort of like stand like and watch Dave sort of like just ping them off. Everybody just sort of like stands and like go on then, Dave.
You might as well finish it off.
I'll get my scorecards out. Yay.
Dave comes back 2 months later. I managed to kill him.
Right, so Shashalian, everybody brings them down with a volley of missile fire. Yeah, and so the scary ogres are defeated. Excellent news.
We killed 3 children in that scenario there, though.
You did?
You bastard. Ogre children lives matter.
Right, can everybody give me an animal handling roll, please? And we'll see how many of the goats you managed to round.
Oh, not this.
How many goats you managed to round up?
Animal handling.
Rick, let's the party down. So you're
I did well last time.
Right, so you managed to get almost all of them, but you end up missing the last 3. So 3 have gone missing, and you're unable to find them.
Not Johnny, Polly, and Susie.
Oh, no, not Susie.
They'll turn up.
Right, so you recover the rest of the night, you get the rest of the goats back into some sort of order, and you push on the final day the next morning and arrive in Phandolin. Waiting at you at the gates of Phandolin is Earl, who sensibly, because he wasn't following goats at 3 miles per hour, took a horse and rode along the road.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Where the fuck have you been?
I went for
We've
a
been
trot on
drinking.
the horse.
I had poor internet connection.
The internet, she was not good.
My computer, it was in a box.
Yeah, so you arrive back at Phandolin. Little has changed in Phandolin. Right, Earl, basically, the town council had you to escort the goats to Phandolin because they reopened the trade route. However, Father
Do we not
Drugel,
get like a hero's welcome?
You will. Father Drugel had also come to see you and said that during confession there was some strange things afoot in Phandolin that you should look into. And you've been tasked basically to get the goats, swap them for a wagon and some supplies, and collect 10 vials of holy water at the town. So you stand at the entrance to town next to the map which says you are here.
I'm very tempted to move that. You are here. Like, move the entire map.
Hold on a minute.
And you drive up, and Pitchwick Wigglehoof is over the moon. It's just like, you guys were great. I mean, it was sad that we lost Mary Sue, John Boy, and Grassy Knees, but we got most of the guys here. I'm so glad.
Poor Grassy Knees.
Poor Grassy Knees indeed.
She's chewing the cud in a better place.
She is.
I just bet we're going to the inn and there's a special on goat. Oh, just found a dead one run over by a cart.
What's those 2 arrows in it? Oh, don't worry about that.
I love that.
It was still moving.
There's 2 arrows in the back of this goat's head.
Well, from a distance, it looked like an ogre.
Right, so you stand at the gates. You heard the big herd of goats into Phandolin. You've bumped into Earl, who's standing there with his crystal texting you, saying, "I am here. Where have you?"
New crystal, who this?
We'll meet you in the inn.
Right, picture it says, I need to go to Barthen's to arrange delivery of the goats, and then we can sort out about getting the supplies and things like that. It is completely up to you. Some of the farmers come out, they wave and shake your hand. They're over the moon to see Dabra. Dabra still has that strange faraway look in her eyes. When she smiles, she sort of has a wistful look. But the farmers come out and they sort of herd the goats off down towards the farm. They're like, Sengo! Edgar, how you doing, lads? It's nice to see you again. Wee Rab. Still sticking the chin on the Wee Rab.
Sengo's like stood amongst the crowd of people, just sort of like lapping it all up, shaking hands and greeting everyone as if he's known them for years. And he's like, hey, picking up little kids and like scrubbing them on the top of the head and like, oh, how you been doing? And the people fucking love it.
I asked the farmers how's things been going. Anything different, strange?
Well, since you've seen the dragon off, things have been a lot more peaceful around here. And then they spotted Dabra and they're like, "Oh, the witch, she's back! The crone."
She's only 27.
She sort of gives a half smile at this, and she says, "Yeah, I'll stay in the inn overnight, and then I'll go down. I'll go down. I'll have a look and see what the windmill's like. I will." I don't reckon she's going to be in such a good state. She's been there a while. The farmers are agog as to how she was dead the last time they saw her, and then you've magically brought her back to life.
I'll twirl my moustache.
Do you even have a mustache, or did you steal it?
Well, I glued one on. I have a disguise kit.
Since he joined the Zentarum, it's kind of traditional for him to have a mustache. Otherwise, how could you twirl it menacingly?
That's how we know each other. By our twirls.
By their twirls shall ye know them.
Right, I'm going to have to reload the Lost Mines of Phandelver because I can't find the map of Phandolin, although I assume that you probably remember it pretty much.
The puppies.
Right, so, chaps.
I could buy some replacement arrows.
Okay, so you head down to the provisioners. You see, when you get there, you see Pickwick is engaged in a frenzied haggling session with Barthen. Barthen nods his head and he says, "All right, lads, and all right, Shash, it's nice to see you again. I've got your favourite type of arrows in there." The 2 lads are standing in the corners playing on their D&D equivalent of a Game Boy with a messy hair brushed down over their eyes still.
It's just a bit of wood.
It is. It's just a bit of wood.
Why is he plugging it in?
And he's like, "Oi, you two, stop buggering about with that and go and get Shashi's arrows. He goes through a bloody load of them."
Are we meant to have a map on screen at the minute or not?
I'm trying to find one. For some reason,
Alright, no problem.
it's vanished. All the maps I've got are Phandolin. Be able to find one somewhere. So, is Shash has gone off there. Are you going by yourself, or is people going different places? Where would you like to head?
I'll hang out with Sash. No, I'll go to the pub.
Check. I don't think I'm needed.
I'll ask the provisioner. Has he seen anything unusual around here lately?
He says it's been quite quiet, Shash. Can you make me? Is it an intrigue roll? I can't remember what the skills are. Can you remember what the skills are?
I think it'll be insight. I think. Or
Insight.
Is it
Make me an
intrigue?
insight roll. An 8. He says no. It's been quite quiet around here. He said since you done for that dragon like it's must have done all the orcs because we ain't seen none of them again. And he says we started getting visitors. We started getting transients coming through, adventure types. They haven't hung about though. Most of them moved on.
Any that have stayed?
He says I think there was a couple up at the inn, but up at the Stone Hill, but they haven't been in here for any kind of provisions or anything.
Sengo sort of like walks around the town talking to people, like, and reminiscing on sort of like war stories, but at the same time he's sort of like quizzing them on any sort of like happenings of an unusual nature that we might be interested in, since we're the interested party. Do I roll for that?
Right, so where are you going? Are you going up to the Stone Hill?
No, I'm just sort of like, no, I'm just wandering around the town, sort of like talking to the locals. Maintaining me happy, friendly, peasant-loving persona.
Yeah, you can have an insight roll with advantage. Oh wow!
Oh yay!
A nat 20. Yeah. So you walk around town talking to the locals as per your background, and they're like, "I single. It's been quiet. I've been at a few lads who's adventuring types like since the roads are opening up. They've come through and." A couple of them had done a midnight flick because they were gone, and the next morning they didn't come, and nobody's seen them leave the town, and we assumed that they must have gotten up and gone, but they didn't have any bar tabs or anything run up. I mean, Tolbin been seen, a couple of lads, they didn't come, and they just disappeared overnight, but they left their gear, so he got his money back. They just left some of their stuff behind. Been weird, like.
And they were adventuring types.
He says, big strapping lads like what you were.
Can he show us the gear?
Oh, he says, Tolbin will have that. You're just talking to random farmers around the town, aren't you? He says, yeah, Tolbin will have that. He's, because he has to get paid for his rooms and he's bored and what have you.
Ah, that sounds like a lead. I don't know what it's a lead to. Can I go and say Tolbin? Well, no, I'm going to say who's Tolbin?
Tolbin Stonehill. He be the barman who runs the Stolen Inn, the pub, as you know it.
Yes. Oh, yes. I just call him Keep.
Bar Keith.
Keith. Bar Keith.
Bar Keith, yeah.
Our Keith.
So I'm gonna go along to the bar, and as per usual, we'll stick some money in the bar for everybody because they're all our friends and they love us.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
You put money back. Right, well, while you're doing that, what's the rest doing? Because you spent some time chatting to the locals, as it were.
I'm already at the bar when he comes in.
Yeah, same here.
Being
I'll enter the bar.
mysterious in a corner and
I'm just
listening
happy
to
to-
what people are talking about.
I haven't really got any supplies to get, so I'll just happily go to the bar. I do like a drink. Yeah. So does my character.
Okay, so everybody just goes straight to the pub.
Yep.
Ethical, are you visiting the pub?
Oh
as
yes,
well?
straight to the pub for a pint of mild and a bit of roadkill curry.
A pint of mild and a roadkill pie. So yeah, Tolbin greets you as you come in. He's like, "All right, lads, coming in, have a pint on me," and he pours you all out a nice cold one.
I'll get a bag of goat scratchings.
Got scratches. He says, "Yeah, I expect the menu's gonna go a bit upper class because we're expecting quite a delivery of finest goat, apparently."
It's good quality. I can testify to that.
And he says, "Oh, you've partaken. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. We'll have goat curry and goat pie and goat curry.
Do you have
pie."
any fox, Keith?
No, sir. No, we had any fox. There's been no accidents down on the King's Road lately. Right, Shashelian and Sengo walk in as you have sat there for a little while with your first pint. And he says, all right, Shash, all right, Sengo, it's nice to see you back in town.
Good day, Keith.
He says, I got a message here from you from that dwarf builder that he sent for to have a look at the old manor. And he says he's when I was speaking to him, he did not suck through his teeth. And he's like, "Oh, it's gonna be costly that, like." But here, I've got a letter for you, so I don't know who wants it, because Sengo was listed as the one to blame, or was it Shash? It was the one to blame. I can't
That was
remember.
Shash.
Shash. And it's an envelope with interested party care of Shash Alien on.
Yeah, I'll take it and open it.
Right, you see the...
we all do like a Goonies around it.
Yeah, as you read this letter, you see that there's a lot of like building words like sinking structure, and you've got woodworm, and there's bloody kobolds in the drains and all this stuff, and it's going to cost 11,000 gold pieces to rebuild the outer structure of the manor. And he says, and that's using some of the materials that's already there. Boyo. You can hear him in his Welsh accent.
We all do this then.
He has a lot of money, that is. I forget. It's made me confused. I've forgotten what accent I had.
We could go and make a withdrawal.
It's made me so confused. I'm now Welsh.
Started off from Yorkshire.
He says, "What you boys doing back in town? I thought you were working for the Lord of Neverwinter, and you had a contract and all that thing."
Nah, I just explained to him quickly the job that we've done and like the fact that we're just back for the night, and then I take him to one side and I start asking him about the adventurers who fucked off and went missing, because it sounds to me like something fishy's gone on there. Sengo will be very interested.
He says, "Right, so yeah." So are you all Scooby Gang style pulling him to one side?
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
I'll put a drink in his hand when he sits down and put my arm around and go, "Hello."
He says, it's the bloody strangest thing it'd be. He says, a couple of adventure types, lads. I mean, passing through and all that. They weren't staying like what you is. Now that the King's Road's opened up and the Sword Coast is recovering from the Great Spell Plague, what have you. He says, we're getting traffic through again. And a couple of these lads, they come down and they stayed overnight and, had the old pie and mild. And they were gone in the next morning, and they left some of their stuff. I mean, not all of it, but there was stuff left in the room enough to cover the bills and things. And, I mean... It's only a couple. I assumed it was in a hurry. They must have left in the middle of the night when I was in bed with the missus.
What was it that they left exactly?
He says, just bits and pieces, the stuff that you lads carrying around in a backpack.
No weapons or anything.
No, not weapons. Clothes and camping gear and that sort of thing. A few coppers in a pouch, maybe. It's almost as if they'd left them lying about in the rooms.
Yeah, and they're just getting another. I turn like to the rest of the party and say, what do you reckon, lads? Do you reckon they've just sort of like get a job that they need to leave quick, or do you think something fishy's happening?
They
I
will
think
not
something
have left
fishy's
their
happened,
gear.
and
I'll stand up and go, "Show me to the room."
Yeah, follow him. We need to investigate the room.
Okay. He says, he says, "Oh, wife, come watch the bar, will you? I got to take these lads up to the rooms." And she says, "Oh, all right, then, husband. I'll watch the bar."
I love your commitment to that.
Oh, all right, lads. It's nice to see you again.
How do
there?
What's it, Jenner?
So he leads you upstairs. He says the wife's been through it and she's cleaned him and all, and we got a few of the belongings downstairs, in the storeroom. But we only sold what we needed to recover the price of the room and the food and that. And if they come back, they can have them. So they take you up to what looks to be a clean and tidy, quite normal room.
When was it that this happened? This happening?
Oh, he says there was one last week, and other one was a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, so it's happened more than once.
Aye, he says there's two lads has done a runner. Like, I mean, if people's going to do a runner, you wouldn't expect them to leave stuff behind. Like, to be honest, but
So are the single men on their own? Like one adventurer went missing, then another adventurer went missing, or is it both times like a party of adventurers have gone missing?
No, it's just a lad by himself. Like,
Oh, we could have like a killer on the loose.
Another killer on the
Interesting.
loose.
Interesting. Has anybody else went missing, or is there any other sort of like personal items and things that people have reported to the local sheriff that have gone missing?
not around here. We still don't really have a sheriff. It's
Who would they report crimes to?
it's that bloody useless Harbin, isn't it? But he seems to be spending all the time with his girlfriend lately. We're supposed to be getting some militia sent down from the town. I mean, we've still got old Tom with his spear, but I mean, you remember him with the dragon. He weren't much use for then. And he kind of falls asleep all the time, and that's about all the militia we got at the minute. But we're supposed to be getting some down from Neverwinter.
Has there been any strangers who stayed in town while those two people went missing?
Not as I recall.
Has this ever happened before, other than these two occasions?
Not I remember. This is the only new guy here. There's a new prospector. He comes in on a night sometimes, and he comes in.
Does he have
goes
funny
over to
shaped
the he sells silver. I reckon he'd be panning for silver. He sells it over at the exchange. But you know the exchange better than I do.
Do we know that Earl and Andy are in the Thieves Guild?
It's a vicious rumour.
I am not a thief. I beat thieves.
No, but
up until
I'm
they
asking
do
this
their
out.
work.
I'm asking this out of game. Like, does the rest of the party know yous are in that?
Well, we don't really make a secret of the fact that we're crims, so you probably suspect it an awful lot.
So I'm going to sort of like suggest to Edrigal and Kalash to go, because there's a Thieves Guild in this, isn't there, in Phandolin? That's how you got in it, wasn't it? You went to Thieves Guild?
You are not privy to that. There was a thieves' mark, but they didn't broadcast it to the rest of the party.
No, wasn't it? What's it called? The Zoltan or something?
The Zentaran, but yeah, they didn't broadcast it to the rest of the party. Just when Adabra was killed, there was like they were like, "Oh, we know somebody who can do something." And they nipped off and.
Yeah, so I say, like, can you go and speak to your contact in town and see if there's any sort of like underworld activity taking place?
I will make inquiries, but first I would like to search the room.
Yeah. I think we need to talk to that guy. Who is it who's spending time with his girlfriend?
That's the townmaster, Arbin. You know, the big
the townmaster.
big fat useless get with the mutton chops.
He was hiding in his room, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's finally come out now. Now you're done for the dragon. He's finally come out.
Yeah. Well, we can go and make, like, me and maybe Rick can go and sort of like rough him up a bit, and then
Shash and Rab can. Sorry about that.
Shash and Rab can talk to like the night watchman with the spear and see if he sort of like noticed anything between slumbers.
Does anybody else have anything to say in this room, or are you just going to search the room?
Worth casting a detect magic in here?
Oh yeah.
Rick's like, it's always worth casting detect magic.
You know, with those drinks I've had recently, I completely forgot I even had detect magic.
Rich, may I investigate the room?
You may investigate the room, yes.
Why has it got a big star?
Investigate's got a big star. It means you're doubly proficient in it.
How do I do anything for that advantage?
You don't.
Or
It's
not?
just if you look at the ability, it'll actually have your action or whatever it is, a skill. That's it. If you look at the bonus, you'll notice that you're proficient in it. If you've got double stars, that means you're doubly proficient. So your intimidation is +6, your investigation is +3.
I'm not good at.
If somebody wishes to help him, use the help action, then he can roll with advantage.
Yeah, I'll help him.
Remember, if we think there's any secret passages or anything, we've got that fancy wand that was quite useful in the castle.
That could be handy because they might have used that to escape the town to like the pub.
Okay, right. You roll your investigation, Earl. Ethical and Shash and Weerab. I take it you've all Scooby ganged it up into the room, so you're all like crowded in this room.
Yeah.
Yep.
Apparently, yes.
Oh, Rick, you haven't got the map for some reason.
I have.
Oh, you have.
Well, I've got the Phandolin map.
Excellent.
I came back to it.
You are.
I'm not in a little room, if that is a difference or anything.
No.
No, we're not.
You're just in a normal room. in the inn, having a look
Right.
around.
Yeah, so the map is just the town map. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just going to see if I can find a token for you, lads. I've got the goat token. I can use the goat.
Use the goat, Luke.
I made that goat herd thing, Al. Believe it or not.
Why?
Just because I wanted a big thingy of a goat turn.
Well, why not?
There you go. Do you want to be? Does the party want to be an exclamation point or a question mark?
Question mark.
Question mark, in my opinion.
Since we've got a mystery.
Yeah, there's a mystery.
There's a game afoot.
Jeepers gang. There's a game afoot. Right, I've dropped the token onto the map.
Yikes.
Is that amenable to everybody?
That's the town manor, though, isn't it?
That's the inn. No,
I thought that was the manor.
The manor is.
Is it the one with the orange roof?
That's the manor.
So I got them the other way around. I thought that was the pub.
Yeah. And this is the Shrine of Luck here.
Yeah, I remember that. And there's a stonemason. There's a ironmonger's just away, isn't there, from there?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The ironmonger's is.
Earl, have you rolled Have you rolled advantage on your investigation?
I don't have it.
You click advantage on your on the button in the bottom left-hand
All
corner.
right, I'll have to do it again then.
Yeah, you didn't roll investigation,
Yeah,
as far as I can see.
it's not rolled.
Well, a 22.
A 22 will do. Right, you and Sengo and anybody else helping search the room. And he says, well, there weren't no blood and nothing, and the stuff was just left lying about as if the lad had unpacked it himself. And you do, indeed, the room does look clean. And then as you look under the bed, you notice that there's some scratch marks where the legs are. It looks as if the bed was like violently shoved into and left scratches into the wood flooring.
And are they fresh?
Can I get my investigation kit out and use that purple spray to see if there's any blood? But I won't spray the bed.
You don't find any droplets of blood, but it does seem as if there may have been a struggle in your little mind palace there, like somebody was shoved up against the bed, leaving like the deep scratches. They're reasonably fresh, but they're not, too fresh.
Would you say they're about a week old?
I'd say they were about a week old. Rick, you cast detect.
I aggressively stroked me beard.
Rick casts detect magic. Tolbert goes, oh, bloody hell, you were casting spells in here, weren't you, boys? He says, I hope it's nothing unnatural. You don't detect any magic, Rick.
Okay, fair enough.
Right then. So shall we do what I suggested there, like the splitty up thing?
You and Daphne's going to search the attic and.
Well, I was thinking, I'm getting these ideas off the Scooby-Doo game that I bought Elizabeth when you were there. So,
and how did you investigate Scooby-Doo game?
Me and Rick, we should go and talk to the Lazy Town Mayor to see if he knows anything. Kalash and Etrigal, I've already suggested, can go and talk to their contact, and I sort of like do a wink. And then Shash and Ray Rab could go and talk to the Night Watchman with a spear, old Tom, whatever his name is, to see if he sort of like knows of anything or knows any stories, because he's like an old veteran, isn't he? Like a weathered senior pro.
A weathered old man, like in his 60s, with a cooking pot on his helm and an old family spear. With
stories, like he's seen some shit. Him.
Yeah. Is anybody have any different ideas, or are you amenable to that?
This seems like a good idea.
Yeah. One thing is that place on the hill is what we bought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah. I think it
dumb.
might be
You didn't buy it. You were given it as
our gift, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it might be worth checking out later on, because it would make a great hiding place for any bad ones.
Yeah, that is there. I've drawn the circle around it. That is your manor house, your ruined manor house, that you got the deeds to, and the Lord of Neverwinter's holding the deed because it has to be signed by the local gentry. Is holding the deed, as a carrot over your head. The top level's demolished. There were rumours that in years gone past, Phandolin, when it first reopened, was overrun by a bunch of bandits with red cloaks, and they may have had a hideout somewhere in town. Some people have rumoured that it was to do with the old mansion.
Then we definitely need to investigate. I agree with David.
We should investigate.
Well, whilst we're in town, Lord, let's do to see if we can glean any information off those 3 contacts. Follow up the leads, as it were.
Okay.
And then
everybody happy with that, or does anybody want to do anything different?
Just one more thing.
It's fine by me.
Ethical Shash, you're happy to go to visit these different people?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, okay, we will start with Ethical and Kalash then. You head off to see your contact at Phandolin Miners Exchange.
I'll have a wander in.
Right. You and Andy, you wander into it. Behind the counter, you see Hallie Thornton, the lady who spoke to you last time, and instigated your entry into the Zentarum. She's got one of those jeweler's monocles stuck in her eye, and she seems to be examining a bunch of ores that have been scattered on the desk next to her. There's like some scales and things like that. And she says, "Well, boys, it's very nice to see you again. It's been some time."
Are we the ones killing the adventurers around here, or is it someone else?
She says, always one for the formalities, Clash. I don't believe we've had a written report from you as to what is happening over in Leilon quite yet. And,
I have been away from my computer for many weeks. You will have to wait until I'm caught up by the rest of the group.
A computer, you have an old monk whose job it is to keep track of the dates.
Of course, do you not? I carry one in my pocket.
I see. And what about you, Ethical, my good fellow?
He will write mine. He was there.
She says, we were trying to fill out your dental forms, but apparently there was some kind of glitch in the paperwork. I don't suppose you know anything about that, would you? And she looks pointedly at you with one eye, Ethical, while the monocle the jeweler's monocle thing is screwed into the other one.
Paperwork? What paperwork? I know nothing about paperwork.
Did we have dental? What is dental? Oh, teeths.
We do look after our members as we're a top-class organisation in these parts.
I was thinking, are we unionised?
She says,
it all went great until he unionised the Zentarum. I'm sorry, we're on working to order, we're on strike.
No overtime. No, we have not.
These the means of thievery.
We have not taken part in any murders sanctioned within this town in many, many months.
But there are adventurers going missing, which means someone is killing them, and that's what we do.
There are always adventurers
they might
going
be harpers,
missing.
we might need to kill them, but obviously they are not. If you do not know, I shall find out.
No, I'm afraid there was a couple of adventurers have been in here, just the usual stuff, selling off gemstones, precious metals, that kind of thing. But we have not had any dealings with them.
Is the prospector who is selling silver a secret vampire of some sort?
Oh, that fellow.
Did you do your due diligence?
Mr. Skeel.
He is a bad guy. That name is the name of a bad guy.
No, he did come in with some small samples of silver ore. Claimed to have struck a vein out in the wilds, but then didn't come back again. Gave him a few gold pieces. Tried to extract the information so that we could lay claim. And should anything happen to the young gentleman, then obviously we could take over the claim. As behalf of the Zentrum as his only fin.
All hail the Zentarum.
But yes, unfortunately, we have not managed to secure the location of the claim, as it were.
So it is definitely us, not us doing the murdering. Okay, I will investigate and tell you who is doing the murdering so we can murder them for murdering without permission.
Well, we would be very grateful if you wouldn't mind having a report on Leilon delivered, please.
Etrigal is writing the report. I am illegitimate.
I'm sure you are. And she looks pointedly at you.
Come, my little friend, we shall leave.
She looks pointedly at you, Edigal, and she says, I'm sure our personnel files will be brought to order soon.
Oh, I would hope so.
It will obviously require you to work a lot harder, but I'm sure it can be done.
Okay, so that was you chaps were down there.
I just need to ask Edrigal something after we leave. What is she talking about?
Well, you know when we signed our contracts?
Yeah.
I signed mine with invisible ink.
Ah, excellent.
Because I thought she's going to worry about that much more than we are.
No, this is true.
I think Earl wants to be in the Zentarum because the easiest way to bring something crashing down is to be a member.
Everything was fine until it got unionised.
Hey, we could be shop stewards.
Right, so that is the information you have found out. There's a Mr. Skeel knocking about with some silver ore. Who wants to go next?
Don't care.
I suppose it's me and whoever is talking to the guard.
1 second, I need a 2-minute break if anybody needs a bio because the cat wants to be out. We'll be right back.
Alright, give us 2 seconds.
I daren't leave my desk or I'll be forced to cook food.
At 7:30.
Nobody in the house has eaten yet because I'm here and I do the cooking. So they are waiting. And I'm the only one who knows where all the food is hidden now. Because I moved all the cupboards around. They'll be searching for snacks for days. Well, I'm the tallest person in the house. So I put all the snacks in the top cupboard that's got a 120 Newton, the pull bars. So once it's closed, it just doesn't open unless you heave on it. I'm going to go downstairs to my wife having some sort of strange pulley system set up to get at the crisps.
I have returned. And who was next? Is Rick and Sengo here? Or
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, so you're heading off to the town
The
master's
map
hall.
guy. Aye.
We're going to go and put the fear of God in somebody lazy. Oh, the fear of dog. He's
Right.
dyslexic.
He's dyslexic. Bristy's got a doggy to lend you to put the fear of into.
Do you know what, Darren, right? Before, years ago, I was playing on Call of Duty and the funniest clan tag that I've ever seen, it was called Dyslexia Squad.
Yes.
I remember laughing me fucking head up and I could hear them these people oh listen, he's laughing at our clan tag. Honestly, I was fucking creased. Dyslexia Squad. Right, over then.
Right, so you head down to the town hall.
Right, so we burst in menacingly.
Yeah. I'm back up.
Right, this is the town
Kind.
hall here. You burst in menacingly. The little old secretary, the little old woman who looks a bit like Betty White, she's sitting there. She goes, "Oh, you scared the life out of us."
Quickly break character, and I'm like, "Hi there, Betty. Maybe you want to go and get some sandwiches?" And sort of wank at her and flash me pearly whites at her. And then as soon as she gets up, I sort of stand up straight and sort of grimace again.
I might have rolled my eyes a little bit.
Right, she goes, "Oh, you scared the life out of us there." Because you do remember the last time you were here that he has a secretary who sits there behind a little desk knitting, and she sort of inoffensively goes around and makes cups of tea for everybody and things like that.
Yeah,
And
we
she
don't want
says,
to upset and intimidate her.
I'll just check that Mr. West is free. Because sometimes he has his young lady friend round.
We'll just
I'm
say
going to
that's
cast
not
detect
necessary.
magic just in case I can detect anything.
I quickly lead her out of the house and say, "You didn't want to say what's about to happen," and just sort of quickly usher her out of the building. Say, "Why don't you go and have your dinner?"
Okay. Can you make me a persuasion check or intimidate if you want? No, you've been more persuasive, haven't you? Go on.
Yeah.
A 6. Right. So you shove her bodily out there, and she's like, "But I've got paperwork to do, and Mr. Wester, he needs to have you renounced."
Can I kind of just growl in the background with a bit of intimidation?
This is
or insight, apparently, if you roll the wrong one.
Yeah.
I actually managed to roll less with a +5. Well done.
She's like, okay, I'll go around and get some fresh milk from the farmer, and I'll come back and I'll make you a cup of tea in a few minutes.
Aye, go and milk a cow.
Thanks, Betty. You darling.
Right, so you remember that the bedroom was upstairs, but there's actually a main office at the back that Harbin was never in because he was hiding under the bed when you were facing the dragon.
Right then, so why don't we use this as an opportunity to go and rake through his office?
Yeah, I'll cast detect magic to see if there's any fancy shit in there that's magical.
Right, well, you go up to the the office, and the door is slightly ajar. You do hear a rustling of papers inside, and some harumping that does sound like Mr. Wester.
So Mr. Wester's harumping in the office instead of the bedroom.
Yes, he's not in his bedroom.
The dick. So we just burst in.
Right, you burst the door open. He jumps for the start. His flabby red face turns even redder, and his mutton chops sort of waggle at you, and he's like, "What's the meaning of this? Oh, Sengo, I forgot my accent. Oh, Sengo, it's you scared the bloody life out of me.
Highly irregular.
You scared the bloody life out of me, you did."
And I just sort of like pierce my eyes at him and sort of like squint them up and see what's going on in the town.
Oh, make a perception check, you two. He says, "What do you mean? Everything's going great. We've opened a trade route to Leilon. We've just gotten a large herd of goats." Right, Sengo, you see under his neckbeard, he's got a love bite. He's got a sucky. And he says, "Everything's going great. It's profits are up, dragons are down. You know, everything's fine."
And I say really menacingly, "Well, I fucking know that. It was us who did all that for you. Now what's going on in your town?"
Make an
I'm just going to
intimidate
say,
check.
under my breath, well, at him, I'm just going to look at him and go, I don't like politicians.
Oh, God.
That was an
Oh,
investigation.
intimidation. Oh, second time's a charm.
It's like
Oh,
yeah.
Can I roll it?
A natural one.
Can
Yeah,
I
go
roll
on.
intimidation as he's like the bad cop behind him?
The bad cop, yeah. So Sengo sort of leans. He does that thing where he slams his palms down on the desk to lean over the desk.
That's
But
bad.
there's a cup of water there. Sengo sort of like knocks it over himself, and looks possibly the least intimidation. He says, "I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean. That everything's fine." Make now you can make some insight checks. He says, "I'm better than I've ever
Can
been."
I support Sengo so that you can roll an extra dice, perhaps?
You can.
Oh.
Yeah. You can roll
So
with advantage. Whoever's the most
Right, well,
insightful.
I've only got +1 insight, Rick.
Well, I'm on -1 insight, so you're
Alright,
still
okay.
better than me.
Yeah, so you got bad cop, good cop going on. A 15. He seems to be telling the truth. He does seem to be a lot happier and more content. His body language is a lot more relaxed than the last time you saw him sort of pushing things under the door.
Yeah, and I just remind him and say, the last time we saw you, cunt, you were cowering under your bed, and now all you're doing is fucking in your bed. You haven't got a clue what's going on in your town.
I'll say to him, look straight in his eye and go, I do not know what is going on. I was not here at the time, but you sound like a dick.
He stands up and sort of with a heave, shifting his enormous bulk, and he's like, "Look, you can't talk to me like this. I'm in charge of this town here. You're only here because of my good graces."
You're only in charge of this town because of our good graces. Do I need to remind you about the dragon dickhead?
He looks a little ashamed and abashed, and he went, Look, Sengo, maybe we got off to a wrong foot here. Honestly, if there was anything going on, I would tell you. You know
so
me.
we've came to talk. I do know, yeah, which is why I'm treating you like this. And I just sort of like explain the fact that we're investigating the disappearance of 2 adventurers who have gone missing that he hasn't got a clue about, and we want to sort of like find out what exactly might be going on, and if he doesn't know about it, we need to get him to sort of like ship his gear up his game, because he doesn't seem to have a handle on the town.
He says, of course, because he's kind of like, he's like Piggy from Cthulhu.
Pompous.
Of course, Cthulhu. Of course, Sengo, I'll get our militiaman right on it.
Militiamen, we know you haven't got any militiamen, just our Tom with his spear.
Well, he's our top man, obviously.
When he's away.
Oh, man. Only man.
Well, we are expecting some new militia coming in from Neverwinter. I mean, now that the road's open, I mean, they've probably been delayed, what with all of the bad weather and the thunderstorms recently.
And I'm just going to say, look, these people in this town deserve a better class of leader, and if you're not doing the business the next time we're here, you're disposable.
He says, you can't threaten me, and then like sees the look in your eye and sort of steps back and trips and falls backwards into his chair, giving the impression...
Is he naked, by the way?
No, he's in full clothes. He's in his office.
All right. For some reason, I thought he was rumbling somebody.
No. He was. There's a pile of papers on his desk that he was obviously reading through.
All right. Okay. So he falls into his chair.
And even though he says you can't threaten me, it obviously looks terrified. And you can indeed threaten him.
And I'll just reason with him and say, look, I'm a reasonable bloke, and I just want you to do your job properly.
In the background, I will manifest using my pact magic a crossbow and just start to stroke the edge of it.
Right, he blanches somewhat white at this obvious use of sorcery and witchcraft, and he says, "I'll do everything I can, Sengo. I'll help you find out what it is you're looking for. I'll ask all the shops."
And that's it. No more missing adventurers.
I don't know
No more
anything about
missing
that.
anyone.
I'll ask Valine and see if she's heard of anything.
Is that his wench?
I don't know. You've never heard the name before? It's not somebody that you've known in Phandolin, and you pretty much know everybody.
Right, so we say we'll lose Valine.
He sort of half smiles and he says, it's a lady that I'm stepping out with.
Another one?
Yeah, she's my elven fire gem, she is.
How long's she been on the scene?
Oh, we've been a couple for several weeks now. It was quite a while after you left to go to Leylon.
I'm going to whisper over to Sengo. Why would some elven hot stuff go for that fat bugger? She's probably dodgy.
Agreed. Or he's like a fucking tripod.
He says, well, Sengo, this is not a belt I'm wearing, you know.
Right then. So I sort of like turn to Rick and say, I think we're done.
Hey, at that point, I'll just dissipate my crossbow.
He says, oh. Yeah. So as you're leaving, Betty comes in with a fresh pitcher of milk. And she's like, do you boys not want a cup of tea? I'll put the kettle on.
I'll stay for a cup of tea with Betty.
Why don't you ask Betty about what's in it?
That's why I'm gonna. That's why I was building up to that.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna leave. I don't want to be rude to her.
Yeah, we don't want to intimidate people.
No rudeness.
It's
So does Betty take us to like a servant's area, or does she stay in like earshot of the mayor?
She just sits in the front office.
Right. So can we sort of like shoo Betty off and say like, walk with me, Betty?
Oh, she'll sit in front of the fire and have a cup of tea with you in the front office.
So we quiz her on what she knows about disappearances first.
Disappearances, she doesn't know anything about that. She doesn't.
And then just subtly say like, yeah, bit of a ladies' man, isn't he?
Oh, you mean the young mistress, Miss Valine? She's a lovely lady. She works in the Lion Shield coaster. My accent's all over the night. Yeah, she and Mr. Wester there. They've been stepping out a few weeks now. She does like to wear her makeup. She's got a lot of she wears a lot of kohl, but KOHL.
What's that like makeup?
It's like dark eyeshadow.
The black,
Really
goth,
dark.
goth stuff.
Yeah, and she does like to wear those gentleman's boots with the very high soles on, and there's quite a lot of belts and things. But I mean, I'm not one to judge. In this town, we see a lot of adventuring ladies, and they have varying attire. They don't all wear a cardigan like old Betty here. She says, and like pulls a cardigan around,
like wraps it around her like a shawl.
Yeah, but she
Where
seems
where we find her?
like a young lass. Well, during the day she works in the Lion Shield coaster, but on a night she'd probably come round and see Mr. Wester, I would imagine.
Right, so let's go along to the Lion Shield coaster.
Okay. So you head off to the Lion Shield coaster. Right, we, Rab and Tresselian.
Right.
You don't have far to travel because old Tom comes in for his midday pint, leaning heavily on his spear, and he's got like an old-fashioned pot plate helm. And some like really old leather armor. It seems quite well looked after, but it's a bit like, it's an old-fashioned style, and it doesn't look like it would stand much combat now. He walks as if he's got a bit of arthritis in his knee, and you're just asking the barman, about where he'll be, and he says, "Oh, old Tommy'll be in here for his lunchtime pint. He will." And he staggers in. He's got like a white scraggly beard. He looks like he should have been retired years ago. And he sort of greets all the people in the bar. He's like, "Oh, all right, lads, all right."
I asked the barman what his favourite drink is.
He says he likes the pint of
spirit.
mild. We all drink a good pint of mild.
Does he enjoy spirit?
He'll have a nip of brandy if he can afford it. He doesn't get paid much on his
Right.
pension.
I'll buy a bottle of brandy.
A whole bottle of brandy. He's like,
Bottle of brandy.
He says, I wouldn't give old Tom, old lad. He'd net a lot. He'd not garden anything for a while.
Keep it behind the bar and give him a nip every once a day.
He says, as you wish, master. You're very kind. Old Tom sort of wanders over the bar and he says, and he's just about to open his mouth and he goes, "Pint of mild, old Tom." He says, "That'll be fine." And he pours him a pint of mild out. It takes a long sip, drink, like chugs down half of it, smacks his lips loudly, and puts it on the bar. takes his spear, casually rests the militia defence arsenal against the bar as he's drinking his thing, and he says, "I tell you what, old Tom, I'll see if the missus has got any leftover pie off this morning." He says, "Thank you, that'd be nice of you, lad." And he shouts through. So you're standing there next to him, and you have a bottle of brandy.
It's like, "Tom, down here." When he turns around,
looks about, and then sort of blows his kiss. He says, "All right, wee Rab, I didn't see you down there."
"Oh, morning, Tom. How you doing?"
He says, it's the old knees. When the weather gets cold, I get all achy. He says, in the rain, and he says, it's been nothing but lashing down thunderstorms round here lately. The bloody roads are awash. Earl travelled by road, and he noticed that the roads were really badly soaked through and muddy compared to normal. But because you cut across the grasslands, it seemed to you that it was just a perfectly normal weather. Which is strange because the road is only a few miles north of the grasslands. But he says, because of all the lightning and the thunder that's been going on lately, he says, it's giving me my arthritis jip.
Oh.
Which direction was this thunder and lightning?
He says it's lashing down on the town. It's like a cow pissing on a flat rock, it is.
We've just come from Leylon. It was absolutely fine down there.
Well, on the coast, he says, that's bloody unusual for us to get all the storms and what is not a Leylon like.
Is it usually this bad?
No, he says it's very unseasonal. It's bloody terrible. He says it's almost as if there's something horrible and supernatural about it.
Well, why don't you come and join us by the fire, Tom? I'll bite you.
He says I like that. And then when I get home, when I get finished my shift, I'll get my old lady to put some vinegar and brown paper on it. That sorts it out good and proper. It does.
Looks like the bot stopped recording.
That's a surprise. Yeah, put the joint again. Awesome. Right, well, so you sit down next to the fire. He sort of lowers himself in, and you can tell that his legs stiff as he sort of stretches out in front of the fire and takes a sip of his pint. He says, "How can I help you, lads?"
Well, as you know, Tom, we've been down Leylon for a bit. And we just come back. We're here. Something's afoot.
Something afoot in Phandolin. It's been canny since you lads did for a dragon lake. We ain't had no problems and nothing.
Yeah, we've heard people have gone missing. Adventurer types.
He says, I won't mind pay no heed to them. They always go missing, they are.
Yeah, but they left their gear behind. Just disappeared into thin air. Looks very, very dodgy. Have you heard anything? Seen anyone around?
I ain't seen anybody as strange. He says there was that prospector guy. He come in here on a night, and I was sitting outside doing the rounds, and he says he come out of here looking all suspicious because he closed the door, he looked left and right, and then he looked up, which I thought was unusual, and he says there was a big rumble of thunder, and then he scurried off into the night. And I didn't think nothing of it. I mean, obviously it was going to rain, and my bloody knee was giving me terrible arthritis. So I gnashed off home quick like. I
don't suppose you know where he's out prospect.
I don't. as you know, now that the mines in the dwarf place be reopening, we're getting the prospectors coming in from all over the place. They keep themselves to themselves because they don't want to tell us where their claims is, because the claim jumpers and things. I mean, claim jumping back in the day was bad enough, but now you got people running around with bloody axes and crossbows. They brings a whole new meaning to the claim jumping.
I pour him a drink and push it over.
He says, thank you, young'un, thank you. I've got a bit of pirate there. It's the brandy. It turns me all pirate. I used to be a pirate. Now I'm a militiaman. So, anything else?
So I wouldn't know about the town governor's bird yet. So, anything around, Davy?
Any new people staying in? Joined the village?
Now recording.
Craig, welcome back, dude.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. He says, couple of new folks. He says the townmaster's got himself a bit of a woman. She's one of them elf ladies, like you is Shashelian, but
Can't trust him.
She looks too young for him, but you live for a long time, so maybe she'd be older than him, to be honest. I think she works down at the coaster there. She's the coaster where they do the armour and that, across the road from the town hall.
Right.
Maybe you should check that to see if they've got any new armour.
Well, Tom,
Says,
I'll push the bottle over and go, if you can keep your ears open, let us.
he says, aye, Rab, I will, lad. I'll just have another nip first, and then I'll get right down to it. He says, pours himself a generous measure of brandy. You figure he's probably not going to be getting down to anything this afternoon, as he's likely to be pissed in the corner. Right, so interesting. So where are you all meeting up? Because what are you doing next?
Back in the bar, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Are you going back to the bar first, or are you going straight to the coaster? Are you going to go and share the information?
We'll meet back in the bar after our initial contacts. But I think
we're going to the bar.
You've went all Android.
I have.
Is it anybody else here like quite muffled?
It just clicked. It's all right. It must be a thing. Right. So you all meet back in the bar, Bracy, and we, Rab, and Shashelian are already in the bar.
Off cut.
They're talking to old Tom, who is now half lashed over by the fire.
And we're like, "Hey, Tom."
He's like, all the boys is here. Did you come in with them goats? Did you?
I was already here. If I'm here, and if I'm not here, then I wasn't.
She says, he says, I seen a Deborah there. Got a fright in my life. I last thing I knew, we was going to have a funeral service, and then her body gets carted off by some two dangerous looking gentlemen, if I'm honest, in metal armour with swords and that in a cart, and then she pops up right as rain, she does. She's upstairs in the got a room upstairs. Frightened the life out of me.
He says a lot for someone who doesn't say much, doesn't he?
You should forget it.
Right, so you presumably, we'll cut a long story short, you share each other's information. So you can all say, all right, we all know this. So any thoughts?
I think those two prospectors, those two adventurers are either prospectors and the silver guy has took their claims, pinched them, or they're working for him and he's told them to go and nick someone else's claim for him.
I could be claim jumpers. Disgusting.
Working for the silver guy. And I somehow think the elf woman's entwined in it to keep the mayor busy.
Yeah, definitely seems dodgy.
She's working them over. So I reckon we go and just we go as customers to the place she works and just sort of like say we're going to be posed with sort of like say we're interested in sort of like panning for some silver and see where the conversation goes. See if we can sort of like manipulate her into telling us rather than being dead direct.
The Lion Shield coaster is more of a general merchant company. The prospectors go to the Phandolin Miners Exchange where Andy and Earl's contact is. Yeah,
but we could just say we're buying like bed sheets and supplies.
Oh yeah,
and just talk loudly and say,
Yes,
you wouldn't know.
Yeah, talk loudly about that massive claim we've just found.
Yeah, a lure.
Because we are very well known.
Okay.
Yeah, we can just say that we're getting it on an adventure.
I'm just wondering if that elf woman and that prospector have any connection with, what do they call it? Them people were...
Talus?
The people were fought in Leylon, just with all these thunderstorms and like the wet roads and everything. I wonder if there's something like that going on.
That is a very, very good point.
Very good point. Or at least the worship the god of thunder or whatever it was, the lightning god.
ACDC.
Right. Shall we go down sort of like just start openly talking about our new prospect that was a reward from an adventure that we did in Phandolin?
Yeah.
In Leolon even. And we'll just sort of like make it out that we're buying provisions from the general store, going to be away because we're going to be doing that much mining, making that much dough.
We could just wait for the guy to come back into town and then grab him by the short and curlies and shake what he's up to out of him.
No, we want to try and ensnare him in a trap. It's much more clever.
That would work. He'd be ensnared. We'd have our ends around his neck. That's pretty ensnared.
Yeah, shall we do that then?
Yeah, you also actually have to do the other stuff that you were sent to town for as well in between.
What was that like again?
You have to get a cart from Barthen's Provisions once Pitchwit has sorted out the trade, collect a bunch of supplies and visit the Shrine of Luck to get yourselves 10 vials of holy water.
Well, we can make it all sound like we're doing that to bring us luck for our adventure in the new silver mine we've just acquired.
Yeah,
So
we can order the supplies while we're there.
Do all that as part of our ruse.
Yeah.
Do like
and it makes it look even more convincing.
So that's the Shrine
like,
of Luck that's got the red thing round it.
This really is like Scooby-Doo.
Isn't it just?
We're making a trap.
Each adventure in the Icespire Peak and the expansions, it tries to give you a different type of experience. So that's why you had like the thing, and then you had that, and this is kind of Scooby-Doo adventurous.
Right, so let's go and set our snares.
Just look for a man with a mask and a couple of pesky kids.
Yeah, we also want to check our mana as well.
Chap, I'm sadly going to have to disappear.
Right, okay.
I've got the world's worst case of heartburn. I'm going to have to go. I'll catch you later. I'm really sorry.
Look at it.
Bye.
Catch you later.
See you later. Ta-ra. Right, well, then there was Fred, Daphne, Shaggy, and Velma.
Scooby's had too many snacks.
Yeah. So what is the plan?
Scrappy.
Are you heading to the coaster or are you heading to the other places?
Well, can we just sort of like play it out like we've done all of it, or do we have to do it separately?
No.
Well,
where are you going? I mean, it's not a case of got like roll a d20. 20. Okay, you've solved all of the mystery. You can go back to Leylon now.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Are these encounters important? If we do but shall we do all like the arbitrary stuff first then?
Right, the
Unless we split up to get some of that. Like I don't mind going off to get the holy water. Oh,
well,
maybe.
I'll pop over to the shrine and tell the bloke we will be needing 10 vials of holy water if you can get it ready.
Right.
But like slip in like, hey, we need that because we've got a right fucking mint find down in the silver mine.
You nip over to the shrine. The shrine is basically a small stone hut around a small statue on a pile of stones.
I thought it was a little well.
No, it's like it's a small statue with like a small living quarters behind it. Right, when you get there, Dave, there's nobody to be seen. You poke your head round inside, and it looks like the place has been turned over. The mattresses, the straw mattress has been pulled off the bed. The small simple chest that obviously contains the priest's belongings has been opened and the contents strewn on the floor, and there's no sign of the priest.
I'll go and get the others and suggest we should do an investigate his place.
Okay. Dave comes rushing back into the bar. Zoinks, he shouts.
Jinkies!
The priest's place has been turned
Are
over.
you shouting this in the bar? Or
No, I
just
go up to them and say, lads, we need to go to the shrine. The priest's house has been turned over.
There's an X near on the shrine near.
Zoinks! Everybody gasps like that.
Is the priest by himself, or would he have an assistant?
No, the priest is by herself. I believe it's a lady. Sister Garielle is nowhere to be seen. You met her briefly after the adventure in the interim, because all during the Icespire Peak adventure, for whatever reason, she was missing. Not in a sinister way. She turned up after the dragon had been defeated.
Was she the necromancer who could have brought her back to life? Who was the way like?
Yeah. Sister Garielle is a female elf woman who is a priest of the Lady of Luck. It's dedicated to Timora, goddess of luck and good fortune.
So she might be related, or somehow got this woman, or knows this elf woman who's knocking off the mare.
Right. Okay. So are you all hot-footing it over to the shrine?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we discreetly sort of like slope out incognito.
Right. You're the most famous people in the village. So as you try to sneak
No,
out
but we
incognito,
don't. We
all
make
the
it look
locals are
as though we're
shouting,
not.
"I'll see you later, lads. Have a good one."
No,
Like, don't
what I
forget
mean
coming
is, though,
tonight for a pint.
we're not like, get off, fuck away, quick, we better run away. We're sort of like, just like, aye, right, see you later, lads, off we gone.
As we leave the place, I'll cast prestidigitation to like just have an ominous thunder rumble over on the left hand side, so that people maybe are distracted slightly while we walk past.
Yeah, they all look out the window and go, "Oh well, that's not a surprise. It hasn't rained all morning. We've been bloody well waiting for it." And as you come out, although the roads are quite well made around Phandolin, you do notice that they do look sudden, as if there's been so much rainfall over the past few weeks that the water table's even risen.
Oversaturation, I believe it's the geographical.
Right, you
geographical
hot-foot it in a line because it's traditional.
dun, dun,
Dun,
dun,
dun. And you
like everybody humming just off tune.
Yeah, and you head into the small hut on the other side of the square.
Rick doesn't want to go in, but then we say, like, would you go in for some of these little bits of cheese?
Okay.
So would you, Rick?
We've got
I'm
some
not
dwarf
going in
snacks.
for the cheese, though.
A beer, maybe. Right, so you go in, you see the scene that Shashelian has described to you previously.
Shall we do a really thorough investigation to see if we can uncover any sort of like evidence of a struggle or anything like that?
Okay, who's doing the investigating?
I can do a bit of that if you want.
Who's good at it?
I've got +1. Does anyone have higher?
Investigation. I've got a +2, if that helps.
No.
You're winning so far. What about you, lads?
Nah, 0.
Right, so if Andy can roll our advantage, then Rich can't he, since we're all investigating?
Andy, so everybody searches the room for clues.
Right.
I'm getting a raging clue from over here.
And 19. Andy shouts, "Jinkies!" and points to a small thing on the floor. Andy, you seem to have found a small brooch. It's a small silver pin displaying 3 parallel lightning bolts.
Uh-oh.
Have we seen this
Seen that
before?
haven't we? Aye. I mean, it's the lightning lord thing who raised the water and Leolon in it.
Yeah, and
The
also
trident.
the shrine where Andy was possessed by some kind of spirit of lightning for a while, if you remember. And
yeah,
dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. So he holds proudly up this small silver pin.
Rich, can I just ask?
Yes.
Is there any fairgrounds around here?
No,
Oh,
there are
well,
not.
That's that line of investigation.
Or sewage factories, or
Is there anyone who stands to make good from an insurance claim?
No.
Bastard.
Right.
I'm out of ideas. No dodgems.
I'll tuck this pin away so that at the opportune moment I shall be able to say this to some non-player character, "I think you dropped your pin."
Everybody files out of the room. Andy stops on the door frame and just goes, "There's just one more thing."
Just one more thing.
Right, so other than that, you don't find anything. You don't find the 10 vials of holy water. There's no sign of Sister Garielle, and there's no forwarding address. There's no note to say, back in 10 minutes or anything.
Would there be anyone who would be closely working with who we can maybe go and ask, when was the last time you saw her?
Just about anybody in town, really. She's like the town cleric, as it were.
Back at the pub, since it's got a view of the shrine, so Keith will be able to see, because he's a nosy bastard, Keith.
Can everybody make an investigation roll, please? See, you get more than half.
Yoo-hoo!
Yay.
Right, you do find amongst the ransacked things, because even Rick, who was quite awful, did a passable job. So when you were searching the place, you do find among the ransacked articles, it looks like it's part of a jacket, and it's torn, and inside where the cloth was torn, it's like sewn inside. It looks like to be some kind of symbol or emblem, and you recognise it as it maybe like the top strings of a harp or something like that.
It's always the fucking...
Oh, gee, I cannot bloody trust them.
I think it's a harper agent.
What? Explain.
If I remember what Auntie Muriel told me is that there's this group of do-gooders called the Harpers, mainly bards, of course, who basically go around fighting monsters, but they're like a secret society, I believe. He didn't say much more than that.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be very secret, would it, Dave?
Nah.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Maybe she's killed one of them.
Is there a city
Maybe
called
maybe
Golden
she's
Moon?
one of them.
I don't know, Dave. We'll have to look at the atlas. I honestly don't know. I know what is in this module, and that's it. Right, so other than the torn scrap of fabric and the small pin with the lightning bolts, you don't find anything else of any consequence. Are you heading back to the inn to ask about Sister Garielle?
Yeah.
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 Right, you speak to the barman again, and he says, "Oh yeah, Sister Garielle, she went out of town a few days ago. She goes out frequently to meet with her bosses, and they do works of charity or something. She said they food banks and helping the poor and the needy and all that. But so she regularly disappears for sometimes weeks on end, and comes back. She always comes back, so I haven't seen her for a while. I mean, everybody knows that's the cleric's house, so nobody will mess with it, so we don't need a door in it or nothing.
An odd way of thinking.
And maybe it's time to get a door.
I mean, I can ask her when she comes back into town next, but she's always popping off here, there and everywhere, doing her charitable works and things.
Right. So let's go and sort of like lay this potential trap for this Valerian or whatever she's called.
Right, so you're heading to the Lionshale Coaster, or you're heading to Barthen's Provisions?
Well, we'll go to Barthen's Provisions by the cart, and then take the cart down to the Lion Coaster, and then it makes the ruse look even more.
Barthen's Provisions is at the entrance to town. It's one of the first buildings you see as you approach town. This small shack here on the map. You head into Barthen.
Good.
Barthen greets you. He's like, "All right, lads, it's been a while. Nice to see you all."
To see you, nice.
Elmer Barthen, a friendly old sort who sells all sorts of not armour and weapons, but all kinds of adventure gear, ropes and shovels and panniers and picks, and he's the traditional of what you would see in a cowboy town that sells all the prospecting gear.
Barthen, has the goats been sold yet, do you know?
He says, "Yes, I've made the arrangements with your young friend Miss Wigglehoof there. All the provisions on the list are getting made up. You can pick them up first thing in the morning. If you come round the back, I'll have a cart waiting. We'll load them up, and they'll be ready to go. The remainder of the balance is sent as a user's note. I mean, that's out of our hands. That's nothing to do with me. So we can't get that, but all the provisions will be ready round the back first thing in the morning for you."
Good.
So it's what, the Gold Coast and then our manor.
So you wanted to go to the Lionshale Coaster and the manor to have a look.
Yeah.
Okay.
What time is it in a day?
Late afternoon, because you've been traipsing
Right,
around
so-
town talking to people.
So we kind of lay the trap and say that we're going to overnight in our manor. Would you agree, lads? And then, like, if there is any sort of like rumbling going to go on it and go on in our manor, but we could set some like traps and snares and that. No, like Earl and Andy can do some like business, like setting thieves traps and that for anybody who might want to sort of like stroll in.
Possibly. Although, if we say we're just staying in the inn, if they have nobbled these other guys, they've got to be more confident about doing it again in the same place. And it's
That's a
probably
good
going to be
point.
easier to trap that place.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's 6 of us, or 5 now, and we are like heroes in the area. So if I'm thinking it's more out of the way, there's less witnesses. So if it did cause like a fight, there's less people going to be drawn to it. So it gives them more confidence that they can dispatch us slower.
The sky
Whereas
is
in
getting very dark and overcast.
Whereas in the inn, they could. In
Rick?
the inn, there's all of us.
Rick, do a detect magic, mate.
I'll cast Detect Magic.
See if there's anything in the sky causing this.
Well, it's only a 30-foot radius.
Is it? All right.
Nothing
Yeah.
within 30 foot is causing this thing. Because you've got Call Lightning and you're a druid and you're with nature, you can make a nature check. Actually, Andy's all druidic as well. Andy, you can make a nature check as well.
Oh, right, oh, sorry, I was just checking something. Nature check, right, hang on.
Right, well, both of you do pretty well. As you concentrate and focus your will up into the sky, it feels oppressive, as if there's like a great storm front coming in, the sky's sort of squashing together. It looks like the sky's going to open up. You can't detect anything overtly magical about it. but it does seem
We've
to be
been here
unusually
before.
localised.
But we better not steer in the manor anyway, because there's no roof, is there? So we're better off going to the to the town.
Right,
Shall we
well-
do separate rooms?
I still think we should have a check round our manor.
Well, if you want to go out in the rain, Davy,
Well, hang on. Why don't we go down to the Golden Coaster, whatever it's called, first? Because that's where we need to do our encounter there, and we'll tell this what you call Via or Valera or something.
Valeron? Valeron?
Valine.
Lane.
Well, we sort of can we go down there and we just sort of talking openly about our new claim and the fact that we're getting provisions for it and we're getting the bits and bobs out of there. Then we're just going to overnight in the town and then wait for some more provisions, then go down to our new claim in the next couple of days.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, I am sure happy that we got that silver mine given to us, and nodding to the lads and winking.
yeah, the silver mine with an absolute ton of silver in it.
We're good.
Yes,
mate.
it was so
Absolutely.
generous for them to give us it.
It would be terrible if somebody stole our claim, though.
I sure hope no one is listening to this conversation.
It's a good job we're staying at the inn in room 3 and 4 and 5.
In rooms 3 to 9.
with the will in the box with the lock on in room 4.
And we are all getting totally pissed tonight, which will leave us in such a vulnerable state. Wink, wink.
So is this a conversation you're having down at the Lion Shield Provisioners or just in the bar?
I want this to be the conversation in the Golden Coaster.
I don't think even an ogre would fall for that.
No, but that was just our practicing it on the way down. By the time we get to the Golden Coaster, we've completely honed it.
Yeah.
You can make a deception check.
We've completely fine-tuned it to sort of be super.
Oh, can I make a
convincing.
deception check?
Yes.
Right, I've got +5, you see.
Can he do it with advantage?
Got 18 anyway.
Yeah. Right, so Shash flubs his line, but Rick's really good at it. He's going, no, you've got to sell it like this.
I love me money. My money now. Nobody's taking my money.
Shash is like, I think I am staying in room 8.
Right. So while you're having this conversation, you stroll across to the Lion Shield Coaster. The Lion Shield Coaster is the other place that sells equipment for adventuring, but it generally sells arms and armour and less of the stuff. It sells stuff like backpacks and rope, but it doesn't sell the shovels and all of that stuff.
To be honest with you, I thought we just had that conversation in there, and that's why Rick rolled that 8.
If you hanging above the door is a trading post sign shaped like a wooden shield with a blue lion painted upon it.
A blue line.
A blue lion.
Oh.
I don't believe you've been in the Lion Shield Coaster before. You recognise it without a roll. It's a franchise of a merchant company based in the city of Yartar. So these guys are the main importers into Phandolin. So they'll have a regular delivery of goods, and they have the most sort of mainstream items like swords, shields, armor. Right, you push the door open. There's a large counter, and behind is a large chalkboard with the prices on, and armor and weapons. There's a sign that says armor and weapons available upon request. And the woman behind the counter looks around 35-ish.
Is she wearing loads of bondage gear?
She is not wearing loads of bondage gear.
Is she an elf?
She's not an elf. She's a human.
So where's the elf?
Not behind the counter. It says,
So let's begin our facade, our well-rehearsed script.
So you do try and pump this script out as she's standing in the doorway. Okay, go and make a deception check with advantage, Rick.
I thought we'd already done that.
You said you were rehearsing it on the way over.
Okay.
I assumed you were rehearsing it.
There we
Oh,
go.
24. So you pump out this script. She waits patiently for you to finish, and an opportunity says, "Hello, I'm obviously you've been around town. I don't think we've met ourselves, but everybody knows the interested party. You're famous in these parts."
And then we don't know what to say because we haven't rehearsed this part. We all just start stare at each other like, what the fuck do we do
are
now?
famous.
is there anything I can
Aye.
do to help you, chaps? It's an honour to have you here. An honour.
We are buying provisions for our newly acquired silver mine, as we have just said. And I stand there like a cardboard and sort of like hold me hand out and sort of like gesture to the rest of the party as we have just been talking about.
Yeah. I will just consult the list of what we need to buy, the blacklist.
She says, really, you want to be at Barthen's for things like that, or the miners' exchange?
Yes, but we've been to Bartram's and he didn't have the weapons that we needed, because we do feel as though, because it's such a prospect, we need some good weapons to protect ourselves from them.
Weapons I can help you with.
And I sort of like quickly look at the lads as if to guard, fuck it, I'll have pulled that one out the back.
Do you have any magical weapons?
Magical weapons? I wish we
Rick will
had
be able to
magical
tell ya.
weapons. I've got the finest steel on the entire coast, but as for magic, I haven't got anything in stock, I'm afraid.
Can I cast Detect Magic subtly to see if they're lying?
You can. You make a deception check. A 14. Oh, I'll let you off. Because otherwise I was just going to have you shout, Detect Magic! So you cast Detect Magic, and indeed, I've just had a look, she has nothing magical. You guys are heroes around these parts, and you're already carrying more weapons than several gods. I'll happily show you in the back. She takes a large key out, and there's a sturdily locked door in the back, which she unlocks, lifts up the side of the counter and shows you inside the room. There are several practice dummies. There are racks of arms and armour, all kinds of mail and leather armour. There's not any plate armour as such, but there's a few plate helms and things like that. She says you can take a swing at the practice dummies. Everything's got the lion shield seal of guarantee.
So, well, while we're here, why don't we? I mean, I know Dave said he wanted to restock up on his arrows. I want to get some more crossbow bolts and some javelins. So at least that sort of like continues with, like, if we buy some, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you can absolutely. They look mass produced, but they're well made, and you can just spend the money and buy them as per the player's handbook.
So it's just 25.
You know,
what's it? 25 silver.
These are things designed to be mass produced and to kill people. There's nothing fancy about them. There's no fancy engraving. These are weapons of war, not of like dueling.
While the son there talking, Rich, I look at the girl and I'd give her like a quizzical look till she notices me looking at her quizzically and see if she says something.
Right, she turns. She says, "Can I help you?" You've introduced yourself by now. She says, "Can I help you there, Edigal?" Sorry, Rab.
Said, "Oh, sorry. Just we were told it was a young elf lady who runs this place.
Yeah.
What was it? What was her name, Edigal? Yes.
Valine. Yeah, she's been waiting here a few weeks. She's a good lass. It's a day off today, as it happens.
Is she a good worker?
Yeah, no complaints.
Good. I should have been here. She must be new in town.
Yeah,
we know most people by now.
Yeah. She left. She arrived sometime after you departed for more adventurous ways.
No.
And what does she do on her day off usually?
Oh, I don't know. I don't like to pry too much. I mean, she's friendly enough, but we don't sort of, share personal information.
She must be staying in town then, I guess.
I think she's staying at one of the farms on the outskirts. I couldn't tell you which one.
I heard she's fucking the mayor.
Taking it back.
Like with this
subtly crit you for 20 points of damage.
Totally of a bull. I sort of like look at them and go, what?
Take the room goes quiet.
She looks at you. You're quite shocked. And she says, "Well, what the young lady does, who she sees, is no business of mine."
Or who she does.
Yes. I mean, they did warn us about you, so.
What do you mean warn us about me?
The word around town that you're very down to earth sort of fellow.
Excuse my friend, he is a bit of a barbarian, literally.
And I sort of like just stand there smiling at her and nodding. So, oh well, lads, everyone knows what she's doing, and ye's little perverts have just came to try and get a look at her. just to throw her off the scent.
Hey, let's have a little.
At this, our demeanour turns decidedly colder, and the temperature drops in the room of several degrees. And she's like, "Yes,
well, let's be all gentlemen."
Well, the young lady, her own business is her own. As long as she turns up for work on time and she's keeps her hand out of the till, then I'm afraid that's all I'm interested in.
Okay. Well, here's me money for me arrows and me javelins. Shash, were you going to buy some arrows?
Yeah, I'll buy a quiver, another 20.
Well, that's very kind. Thank you very much. She's decidedly icy at this point. Do you think maybe that was the wrong tack and she may have clammed up somewhat? Right, so you come out of the Lion Shield Coaster with your javelins and arrows and things and pack them away. You're standing in the town square. What's the plan now?
I think we should have a quick check round our manor.
How close does that storm look in, Rich?
It looks like it's definitely going to lash down within about an hour or so.
Right, well, that's more than enough time.
The two druids are like, yeah, it's going to chuck it down.
I'm like, it's all right, lads. You're the last to get rained on.
The rain's going to drop another 6 feet before it hits you.
There's no need to be short.
So,
right.
Maybe we could take a wander past some of the farmhouses up as we go past, and
well,
see if we could maybe see this.
You could definitely make it to the walk up to the manor.
Let's split up.
A quick look around, and then be back at the inn before the storm breaks.
Yeah, let's have a look at that. That's high ground as well, that, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Right, let's go and wander up there. We'll take a meander up the top. That's definitely a Mott and Bailey.
Yeah. It's more a castle than a house. The manor stands at the east edge of town on a low hillside amid woods and thickets. It looks that very little of the original walls are standing. There's a partial second floor, but it's open to the elements.
I wonder if we could nick any of the stone off here to repair our place.
That is your place.
Oh, all right.
I don't think we should be nicking the stone from your own thing.
So what you're making is you pick some of the stone up, walk across the other side of the room, and then put it back down, and then slap your hands together contentedly and go, "Job well done."
Is that little building that some kind of hut?
It's the remains of a hut. Yes, Dave. It looks like. You go. Presumably, you go over to it. It's one of those ancient huts where the boards are all warped, so
I'll look for tracks.
you can see gaps between it. Go on then, give us a survival roll with advantage, because everybody's looking at you going, "What are you doing?" "I'm looking for tracks," and they all sort of like casually start looking about. Right, you find several tracks of small animals, like maybe rats and other small game, but nothing major. Outside the hut, there's no tracks either, and you push the rickety door open, which has only been supported on one hinge. The door sort of opens and then falls slightly inward off kilter, and it looks like to be an old shed of some kind. There's some rusty old tools in the corner and a few decaying benches.
I'll do a tracking inside our manor.
Okay.
Do I still get advantage or what?
Yeah, why not? Do I get advantage? Because it's a Wednesday. Right. A 15. No, Dave. You don't find any big tracks inside the manor.
So we just sort of like stand with our hands on our hips, and I'm like, "Well, this is nice."
Due to the size of it, like it says, it's almost a castle. To do a thorough search, Dave, would take several hours at the least, and it will be dark and thundery, rain and lightning down in you within that time.
We may as well head back to the inn then.
You can do it tomorrow, or come back to it.
Yeah, we can have another check tomorrow.
Okay, head back to the inn. Is that what everybody wants to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
What time's it now? About 6 o'clock.
Getting on to about 7 o'clock now, because Dave's been wandering around, and as it's getting sort of late autumn, it's coming in dark, and as you reach the door to the inn, the first great big fat blob of water falls from the sky, landing on somebody's nose, because it always does, and sort of runs uncomfortably down your collar. So you dash inside, and then there's just a great low rumble of thunder, and the heavens literally open, and within seconds the place is actually drenched. What do you want to do now?
Tea, food.
Yeah.
Have a meal, have a drink, then retire to our quarters. Not get too pissed, but we ask the barkeep to make it look as though we've been mortal. So like loads of empty glasses and that round where we've been sitting.
Right.
Music.
Aye. It's time for some bagpipes. Woohoo! Look at that. What are you whipping out this time, Andy?
Oh, the bagpipes.
Not a magic lute.
No, bagpipes.
Oh,
Oh, well done, that man.
Right. So the dueling bagpipes go on throughout the inn, and for once they actually sound pretty decent. So it's you're doing this sort of ding 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 ding, but on the bagpipes. So I don't even know what that sounds like.
I'm imagining it, and it isn't pleasant.
But it doesn't sound awful. It sounds pretty good for once. Maybe
Yeah,
that's...
because it's like, whoa, who knew you could do that on bagpipes?
Yeah, maybe it's the mild that you've had is sort of sorted it out, and then so you spend a pleasant evening in the bar. Are you staying up late? Are you getting hashed? Are you going to bed? Are you going
No,
to...
We've arranged it with Keith to make it look as though where we've been sitting has been like not trashed, but like we've been there all night. Loads of nuts all over the floor and that. Loads of glasses. Like
If
a
they
good
give
time
us
of
some
merriment.
water, I can also like colour the water so it looks more like we've been drinking beer.
Okay, so you perform this act of legerdemain.
Aye.
Aye.
Fun.
Right, and then do you actually retire, or are you just going to cower under the covers with your sword out and a candle, waiting for people to come in the room?
Well, I think we go to quarters, but we try and sort of like remain on watch. So like a light rest, or we could do it like a watch. So like some of us sleep and then others keep watch. I think that would be a better way of doing it, and then it's a long rest in it if nothing happens.
Yeah. I assume you mean that you're watching to see if somebody breaks in and tries to murder you in your sleep. Is that what you mean? So
Yes, but obviously
you're all sleeping together in a big blanket tent. Am I reading this right?
No, well, we said we were staying in rooms 3 to 9.
All right, so you're pairing up, as it were.
So we need to be upstairs. We could just all sleep in one room, but
well, we did say we're going to be in room 4.
make it the room make it the closest room, like the first room they'll come to, so to speak.
Okay. Right. Well, you wait, but nothing happens untoward overnight, other than the fact that the sky seems intent on hitting the ground with as much rain as it physically can.
That's not natural.
And when you sleep fitfully as lightning crashes outside, lighting the room up, and absolute deluge of rain happens overnight. Right, you get up in the morning. Breakfast is ready, so you can have your usual breakfast in this place if that's what you wish.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a lamentable breakfast.
I'd like some haggis.
What's haggis?
Have you got any stomach that you could just stuff with some like oatmeal and bits of other stomach?
I want to say maybe. Wife, wife, can you attend to this fellow's request? And she says, well, I did clear out all the offal and chucks it in the bin, but I can take it out for you if you like.
I just give it a rinse with a wee cloth and it'll be fine.
Right, okay, I'm gonna have a go at making haggis. Here we go. She's got 2 cooking. Oh, she actually manages to knock up a reasonable approximation of haggis.
You must have got the seasoning right.
She's by complete fluke of haggis cleaning. And is there anything else you'd say? Ask, do, want a drink?
I'm all right.
You're all right?
Aye.
Right, well, the only thing you had arranged for the morning was to go around to Barthen's to pick the wagon up and the supplies. And then the sky is overcast. It's, you know, when clouds are so thick and dark that it's actually dark in the streets.
Yeah.
So the sun is completely blotted
Monday.
out. But the rain has eased off to just a light drizzle.
Is there enough light?
There is enough light, but it is like, you know, when it's so black and overcast from a thunderstorm that it's almost dark.
Right, so what exactly are we doing? Because I mean, it looks like our finely laid trap wasn't successful,
No.
and we seem to have got no leads except to talk to like Belira.
That's probably why it didn't work, because if she is involved, she wasn't in the shop to overhear the conversation.
No.
Is it worth going back to the shop now that she'll be there?
I think maybe just one of us goes.
Probably not you, really.
Yeah, I was just about to say you could go and sort of like pretend to be a gentleman, just say, look, I'm sorry about Sengo yesterday.
Who's the most polite? Cecilian?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'll head to the Golden Coaster and apologise profusely.
Right, you head to the Golden Coast. Are the rest of you heading around the back of Barthen's to pick the wagon up while she does that? Yeah?
Aye.
Right, you get around the back of Barthen's. There's a big wagon outside, and there's a whole bunch of barrels and crates and supplies, as you can probably see on the map here. And you start loading it onto the cart. Right, Dave, what do you say as you walk in and you see the lady that you spoke to the day before was there?
I say, good morning, good lady. I've come to apologise for my compatriot's manner.
Oh, make a persuasion check, she says. No, she doesn't. She says, well, at least somebody's got some manners. She
Not
says,
very good at it.
but I still think it was out of order.
I know, they've been in the wilds for a while, you see. They need to be more social.
It was fine.
She says, well, you seem to be a nice fella, so thank you. I accept your apology. Will there be anything else? She still seems to be a little curt with you, Dave.
No, not offhand. I mean, I must admit, I've been hearing things about people disappearing. I don't know if you've heard anything.
No, I have heard nothing. There's been no change in the customers that come in. Nobody's really mentioned anything to us. But they do just come in for arms and armour.
So, you know, this big bad weather we've been having, when did it start happening?
Oh, that started 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Anybody new to town round about then?
Actually, that was when it started. The night Verlaine came into town, because she came in and she must have just missed the rain because it started chucking her down outside, but she came in and she was dry as a bone.
Some people have all the luck.
Yes, they do, don't they? You notice that she's in by herself though, Dave.
I take it Verlaine's still off work today. It would be nice to talk to a fellow elf.
She called in and she said she needed to be late. She needed to come back later on. She's got some moving to do apparently. She was talking to a friend outside who overheard, and she said she had some trash to take outside of Barthen's. So I assume she's moving some furniture or something.
I see.
Ooh, where outside?
Right,
the bar rooms?
just as she's saying this, you're busy loading crates onto the back of the wagon. The sky is overcast, and from around the corner steps an extremely shabby looking man. It's not somebody you've seen. It does seem to fit the description of the gentleman that you were asking about in the pub. And he says,
Silver's one.
Yeah.
Mr. Steele or Silver's,
yes.
wasn't
He's wearing very shabby thing. Can you please make perception rolls?
Well, it's never going to go well. It didn't.
What look?
Oh, 20. Right. Rab, Sengo, you pick up the most awful rancid flesh smell. The last time you smelled it, it was in the dwarven castle under the mountain. Was the last time you smelled anything this bad. The guy, he takes a step forward. You notice he's got pale skin, and he speaks, opens his mouth to speak, and he seems to speak with some difficulty. You notice that he has 2 pointed canine teeth, and he says, "It's about time that you lot were taken out of this. You're getting too nosy. The great lord has decided that you have to die." And then from behind him you hear sort of and coming from behind the building a whole lot of undead, and he says, and just as he says that, on the other side of the clearing steps what can only be described as a red-headed goth lady, and she says, "I heard you've been asking about me. It's about time that you..." And she stops and she looks at the other guy. From behind her you hear sort of growling and barking noises. You catch sight of these strange scaly creatures with almost lizard or dog-like faces and small horns, and she just looks at him and goes, "You!" And he looks at her and he goes, "You! These are mine!" And then there's a cry, there's a howl, and all hell breaks loose as creatures from both sides of the street burst into the street and charge towards you. And that's where we leave it for the night.
Oh!
We cut back to Dave, and Dave goes, "Barthen's provisioners, oh no!" And then, what do you, Dave?
I run out the door and run up to Bob.
Dave bursts out. Yeah, the last shot is like there's the credits, and then it does the after credits scene. The door bursts open from the lion's shade. You just see Dave come pissing across the road at full speed.
Oh dear.
I must save them.